Jaxson, welcome to the official Heisman Trophy podcast. You and the Rebels are off to a hot start. 2-0, number 5 in the country. You lead the nation in several passing categories. But now your first road trip is coming up. You got Wake Forest on Saturday. What is the coaching staff emphasizing to your team ahead of that game?
I think the biggest thing that Coach Kiff always preaches is, pack your run game and pack your defense on the road. So, this team, we haven't, like you said, we haven't been on a road trip. So it's going to be really fun to kind of experience that with those guys and, play a really good team that we're excited to play this week and, excited to elevate our game and to play on a really high level.
What do you think will be the biggest challenge for the offense going against the Demon Deacons?
Yeah, they're a very sound defense all across the board, from the defensive line to the defensive backfield. They have a lot of experienced guys who have played a lot of football. So I think from just that standpoint, you're not really going to beat them at the fundamentals. So we got to find ways to find advantages and hopefully just, win as many one-on-one opportunities that we get. And then at the same time, like I said earlier, try to just establish the run game and, control the line of scrimmage as much as we can. They're going to come out firing. They got a good offense. So we got to do all that we can to match that and, really just control the line of scrimmage.
Now, last Saturday, you completed your first 24 passes to set a program record, and you were 2 off of the NCAA record, and you completed the final 6 passes of week 1. So that's a streak of 30 straight completions, the SEC's longest completion streak ever over 2 games. What is it like to go on a streak like that? Did you ever do that in your life? Like even with your dad in the backyard as a kid?
I'm not sure if I have, honestly. It was a fun feeling to be in. People talk about just like being in the zone and kind of just finding a rhythm in the game. I feel like the game slowed down a lot for me and was able to just find a lot of consistency. And I think, honestly, it was a little contagious for our unit as an offense. And guys were able to make plays for me. I think that, I give all the credit to them and my coaches for putting us in the best situations to execute. And it was just a lot of fun to be out there with the guys and to play at that level. And, hopefully I can just find ways to continue to do that.
Yeah. How do they treat you in the sidelines when you're coming off and when you're on that kind of roll? Is it like a pitcher during a no-hitter? Like, are you aware of your streak and no one wants to talk to you about it?
Yeah, it's funny, because after the game, people started bringing it up to me. Nobody said anything to me during the game. Like you said, people definitely compared it to like a pitcher. But, I saw it, on the screen when the stats popped up a few times and it's kind of like, dang, I'm in a good spot right now. But it was a lot of fun.
Tell me about this bond you have with wide receiver Tre Harris. Seems like you guys really feed off each other as competitors and as teammates.
Yeah, not only is he probably my best friend on the team, but I think he's the best receiver in the country. And, I think that all goes to credit with how much time that, we've spent with each other doing extra work or, just hanging out and, finding that bond between one another. I feel like I always know where he's at on the field. And anytime that he has an opportunity to have a one-on-one matchup or to go get a ball, I have all the confidence in the world that he's going to make that play. And he works his tail off, all throughout the offseason and into camp. So, I thought that he was well prepared going into this year and was really excited for him to show the whole world kind of what level he was going to play at.
Yeah, one of the things I like about your game is your hard-nosed approach to doing your job. You're not afraid of contact. You're not afraid to hurdle defenders. Where did this attitude come from? Because not a lot of quarterbacks have it.
Yeah, I think from, early on, my dad played safety at the University of Utah, and he kind of raised me to kind of follow in his footsteps per se. So, growing up, I always played both sides, and I loved defense, and I loved the physicality of the sport. It was something I was really drawn to. And I think anytime that, your teammates can see, playing at that level of just, competitiveness and then, putting your all on the line for them, I think it forms like a little bit of an edge for your team. So I think that that's kind of where it all started from. And it's just really something I love about the sport.
Now I hear mom is on your case about sliding when you're in those situations though.
Yeah. She makes sure to remind me every time on the Walk of Champions or on away games and pre-games to always slide.
You had a nice season last year, led Mississippi to its first ever 11-win season. How close were you last December to making a jump to the NFL?
Yeah, quite honestly, it was close. I'm just really thankful for the close circle that I have and just the mentors that I had being able to help me make a decision like that. I think ultimately it just came down to the momentum of this program and where we're at. And then at the same time, just the conversations that I was having with my teammates who are kind of on the bubble as well. And, we saw the opportunity that we have for this year with everybody coming back. was just really excited about the opportunity, and we want to do something that's never been done here before.
So you chose to come back for another year. I mean, there have been many changes in college football last few seasons. What's it like being a college football player now compared to when you first came to college, when you're back at USC?
There's definitely a little bit of a difference, but honestly, I see it as the same thing. I just have always prioritized football, and ball is ball, and just keeping the main thing the main thing. So from my perspective of going to work every single day, or just my approach and mindset, nothing has changed from that standpoint. But I think it's just been great, being able to play with new players from the transfer portal, and being able to bring guys in from all across the country, and ultimately just make the best team possible.
Well, speaking of that, I hear you played a big part in getting lots of fresh talent to Ole Miss. Tell me about some of the things you did to help convince some guys to come.
I think the biggest thing was just trying to make genuine relationships with those guys, and just being upfront and honest. I feel like, in recruiting nowadays, there's a lot of things that are kind of shaded, and there's not as much honesty involved. So I just wanted to be authentic and wanted to make sure that those guys saw what this program was about. Not behind closed doors, just straight up what it was. And I think that played a major role of being able to make those relationships and ultimately just gain trust. And, I think at the same time, there's this program sells itself. There's a lot of energy around it. The coaching staff is elite. And, ultimately, I think that was the biggest thing involved, with those guys making decisions.
What do you like most about living in Oxford, and what do you miss the most from the West Coast?
The biggest thing that I miss from the West Coast is probably just my family. It's a far ways away. I miss the mountains and the lakes for sure. But I love Oxford. I love the people here. I love the support system, and just the energy surrounding, football in the South you can't compare it. So I think from that standpoint, I've really enjoyed it. I love how I'm able to just really just lock in and hone in on, my craft of football, and I don't really have too many distractions around me. And I love that about it. And like I said, I love the people and the community as a whole.
I hear you're quite the hunter and that you are into going after exotic animals.
I am.
Well, how did you first get interested in hunting?
Yeah, my dad is an avid hunter and outdoorsman. So I've been surrounded by it my whole entire life. I mean, since I could remember, my dad was, making me hike up mountains with him and go on hunts. So it was something I was drawn to as an early age. And, it's kind of just strengthened, my love for it. Coming to the South and being surrounded by it, I've really loved, getting into ducks and stuff out here. So it's a lot of fun. I love being outdoors. I love being away from social media, away from, distractions, and really just finding myself in the moment and at peace.
What's some of the most interesting animals you've been able to hunt?
Geez. Black bear is super fun. Mountain lion are cool. I love hunting just mule deer and elk. But honestly, I feel like if in the States wise, if you can name it, I've been on a hunt for it.
Do you make venison or like, beef jerky or anything like that out of your kills?
Everything. Yeah. Yes, sir.
You have a reputation as a stylish gent. You were recently interviewed by GQ about your outfits. What kind of preparation goes into you choosing all your different styles and fashions that you wear?
I kind of just abide by, whatever I'm feeling at that moment. I like to kind of be disruptive, and really just, show who I am, deep down in my fashion. I think my mom does a great job of helping me, and she definitely plays a huge role in helping me to prepare for those fits throughout the season.
Are you big into accessories?
I am.
Outside of Ole Miss swag, what's your go-to fit when you're going out in Oxford?
Well, geez, I feel like I dress differently than everybody else in Oxford. You see the khaki pants and the button-ups and whatnot, and then you see me with, cargos and whatnot. So, I kind of, I like to dress the way that I dress. Even though it's a little different than others, but I have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. When you were recruited out of high school, you signed with USC in the same class as its current quarterback, Miller Moss. Right now, between the two of you, you've got 1,400 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's a pretty darn good quarterback recruiting class. Do you and Miller and some of your old teammates all keep up with each other?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say some of my best friends are still at USC, and I loved my time there. Loved being in the same quarterback room at Miller. He's a stud, and me and him have a great relationship. So it's fun to follow him, and we always have stayed in touch, and we also have the same quarterback trainer. So during the off season, we're always together, and at the same time, we're always competing. Regardless of if we're in the same room or across the country. So I'm always rooting for him, and I think the same goes for him for me as well.
Who's the quarterback trainer you guys train with?
3D QB. So Adam Dado, Taylor Kelly, and John Beck.
Is that Adam Dado of the USC Dados?
Yes, sir.
Wow, how about that? Mississippi has had 5 players in its history finish in the top 4 of the Heisman race. Most recently, one Eli Manning, who did so in 2003, finished 3rd. You got to work with him at the Manning Passing Academy this summer. What was that like, and did you receive any words of wisdom from him?
Yeah, Eli and Archie have been great mentors for me. I thought it's been super unique about how involved they've been in my time here, and I thought that their camp was incredible. It was my first year going to it and just experiencing it. Had a ton of fun and was able to learn a lot. But like I said, he's been a huge mentor for me and somebody that I've always really looked up to on the football field. So it's been a neat experience getting to know him, and then at the same time, him giving me advice going into the season.
Do you hear from him more like when you have a rough game or when you have a great game?
Probably a great game.
Yeah. And finally, who are some Heisman winners that you've enjoyed watching over the years, and what would it mean for you to take your place with them, or at least get to New York City and be a Heisman finalist?
Geez, there's been a lot. I mean, I think that, starting out like Marcus Mariota was one that I, loved growing up watching. Johnny Manziel was super fun. Also guys like Reggie Bush, just growing up watching him as well. I had a unique experience of really knowing Jaden closely, and he's a dear friend to me and somebody that I've always looked up to. We also trained with the same quarterback guys. So, there's countless guys that I've been able to meet and have encounters with, and I have a ton of respect for them. And like I said, they've been people who I've really looked up to. So it would definitely mean the world. I know that it comes with winning. So right now I'm just focused on winning each and every week and putting my team in the best situation.
Well, Jaxson Dart of the number 5 Mississippi Rebels, thanks for coming on the official Heisman Trophy podcast. Good luck against Wake Forest, and we look forward to seeing you play this year.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And the winner is...